Now we will start preparing the stuffed vegetable and grape leaf stuffing. Uh, these are the grape leaves that we picked from my backyard. Look how beautiful they are. I washed every single one of them. I cut the stems out, and you see how I pile them into piles like that, all in the same direction. I have a pot of boiling water right here that I'm gonna let the water boil first, and I'm using some onions, medium-sized onions. I'll use maybe 4 or 5 of them. Before I do anything, I will make a cut only halfway through the middle of the onion, peel the outer layer out, and then try to simmer it for about 3 to 4 minutes in hot water. This will help release all the layers of the onions, and it will be easy to come out and easy to stuff them. Of course, if you use larger onions, it might take a little bit longer for the onion to layer to separate. So it depends on the size of the onions. So I'm using, this is fairly small onions. I'll use about maybe 5 to 6 of them. Of course, making dolma, it's kind of long process, but it is so healthy. It is so delicious. It's so worth the time to spend to prepare it. And you can always prepare it a day before and then cook it the next day, and it becomes really handy. And it's nothing better than having all these vegetables in season when they are fresh. Grape leaves are fresh. That's, of course, the best time to simmer for about maybe 3 to 4 minutes, and then all the layers will be separated, and then we'll just remove them and drain the water. So while we are waiting for the onions to simmer, I will start getting the other vegetables ready. I'm using about 3 eggplants. So what we need to do first is we will cut the stem out. Of course, these are already washed and dried, and then cut each one of them in half. Beautiful looking. It is possible to scoop all the flesh out, leaving only thin walls around the skin of the eggplant. Want to make sure we'll have enough filling and enough stuffing for the eggplants. So this will be perfect. And we'll keep scooping all the flesh out. We will scoop the last piece of eggplant, the flesh from the last piece. It's all done. Now I will sprinkle the inside of each piece with some salt, just like that. This will make the eggplant a little bit softer when cooking in the pot. And I also have about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil in a skillet like this. What I would do is I will just saute the eggplant from all the sides just until soft. Sometimes if you don't do this step, eggplants tend to be more rubbery when cooked in lemon sauce. But when you saute them like this, you can also put them in the oven, just brush them with some oil, put them in a tray, and they go in the oven just until soft. We don't want to deep fry them. We just want to saute them so they'll become beautiful, sweet, and soft. So we just want to turn Make sure all the sides are soft for about 2 to 3 minutes. I believe the onions are all ready. Look how nicely they separated from each other, the layers. And now they'll be easy to separate apart. I will remove them with a slotted spoon and let them sit in a dish like this to drain all the water and to cool off before separating the layers. Perfect. I turned the heat off. The water is hot. Actually, it's been simmering for a long time. So now I will take advantage of this hot water that I have, and I will dip the grape leaves that we already picked in water. This will make them more soft and more pliable, so it will be easy for us to fill them and roll them just for a few minutes. Actually, 2 to 3 minutes. You just want to simmer them. And you will see immediately they'll be changing color. They'll turn yellow. Perfect. We will remove the ones that already soft. Try to drain them. And they'll go back in the basket. You see how they change color? They become more yellow. Of course, more soft. It only took about not even a minute. And that's about it. These are ready. We'll let them sit and drain. Perfect. And now we will check on the eggplants. Just want to turn them to make sure to saute all sides just for a minute or so. Look how beautiful and soft they are becoming already. This will give them that amazing sweetness to them and amazing flavor too. So this will be perfect. I will remove them and set them on the sides until we are ready to stuff them. While we are waiting for the onions to cool off a little bit, I will prepare the zucchinis. I'm using 4 zucchinis. Look how beautiful green color these zucchinis are. They are so fresh. What I would do is cut the stem off, of course after washing them and drying them, and cut it in half, just like that. And we will do the same thing for all 4 of them. When using larger zucchinis or squash, you can even cut them in 3 pieces if you want. And sometimes they come in much smaller size than that. You don't even have to cut them. You just cut the stem and scoop the flesh out. And of course, we will do the same thing. We will scoop all the inside of the zucchini all the way in. Make sure we leave thin walls around the skin. And we will just do that. We don't need to do anything for this. These are ready to go for stuffing. Real beautiful and tender. Nothing like fresh vegetables when they are in season. They are the best. Years before, dolma was made only for special occasions. Now, of course, everything is available. Vegetables are available all year long. Grape leaves, you can find them preserved, or you can preserve them yourself. So you can make it any time of the year. It does not have to be a special occasion to make dolma. Now we will work on the last piece of the zucchini. Now the eggplants are ready, the zucchinis are ready to go. I will get the peppers ready. I'm using these small peppers. I'm using colored peppers. Really beautiful. You could use just regular size of peppers. You could use green pepper, you could use Hungarian peppers, whatever you prefer. I like using these small ones. They are really sweet and they are individual size. So all what you do is you need to make a cut, not all the way through. You don't want to have this out, the cover out, and then scoop all the seeds and the flesh from the inside. So this one is still attached, just like that. We'll have them ready for stuffing. I'm using some red, some orange, and yellow, just like that. If you don't want to use any peppers, that's fine. If you like to use more onions, more eggplants, more zucchinis, really there are no rules. Whatever your family prefer, whatever you like to use. My kids love the grape leaves on onions in the dolma. Sometimes I just make that. I don't use anything else. So it all depends on what your family likes and what you like to use, what you have available at house too. One more thing is I always like to use stuffed tomatoes for stuffing. So I'm using this beef steak tomato, which is excellent for stuffing. And it's really sweet and it's beautiful. So we will do exactly the same thing. We will just cut through the top, not all the way through. We still want to keep it intact. And what I would do one by one. You don't want to break them, just like that. Much easier when it's cooled off. Perfect. And I will never throw these away. I'll just throw them in the pot. This will give you that amazing flavor. We'll just separate all the onion pieces. Layers actually. Much easier once you simmer them in water. Nothing break. It comes all in one piece. It's much harder when you don't simmer them in water to separate all these layers. Perfect. From 5 to 6 onions, you get a lot of layers. Of course, it depends on what size onions you are using. Perfect. So all the vegetables that I need to use for stuffing is ready now. Eggplants are ready. The zucchinis are all scooped out. The tomato is all ready. And the peppers are ready. My onion layers are ready. And the grape leaves are all nice and soft and they are ready to go. Now it's time for us to prepare the stuffing for the dolma. I have washed and drained 3 cups of long grain rice, and to this I will add 2 pounds of minced beef, then 2 to 3 large tomatoes goes in there, 1 cup of tomato paste goes in there. Real easy filling to make, but very flavorful. 3 to 4 cloves of garlic that I minced real finely. 1/4 cup of freshly squeezed lemon juice goes in there. And then, of course, the seasoning. I will use 2 to 3 teaspoons of salt. should be good. And then 2 to 3 teaspoons of mixed spices. Baharat, it's a blend of many spices together. That's gonna give it this amazing, unique flavor. Of course, now all the filling items are there. All what I have to do is use my hands, the best tools, of course, and mix everything gently. We don't wanna break the rice grains. Of course, you could use more rice, less meat, or the opposite. It's really optional how much meat you want to use versus how much rice. I like the dolma to have a lot of meat. It will have more flavor. Of course, more garlic. Many people try to stay away from garlic, so they eliminate using the garlic in the filling, and that's fine, whatever you like. Some people might add some chopped onion or sauteed onion. I heard some people might like to add. Again, it's optional. You can do whatever you want. I have a large pot right here to this. I will add some vegetable oil, about quarter of a cup in the bottom. And then what I would do is I will line the whole bottom with some grape leaves. This will eliminate any vegetables from burning. And when you flip it, you'll have these leaves on top. It's kind of work like a cover. Of course, it's optional to do this step. You don't have to. I always like to do it. It's just like a habit. So this is perfect. And now I will start stuffing the vegetables. I will start off by stuffing the tomato. Tomato is the largest piece of my vegetables, so I would like to leave that in the center. When using the filling, you want to make sure you only use about 2/3 full. You don't want to fill it all the way to the top. So I will center my tomatoes in there. And then I will start with the zucchinis. I take 2 pieces at a time and take some stuffing. We don't want to pack them and fill them loosely. We want to stuff them, put them just like that next to each other and line them on the outer line of the pot, just like that. And we will continue with the zucchinis. Most of the time when people are making dolma, it's always fun to have two, maybe friends, two sisters, two relatives, mom and daughter, to work together. It takes long time, and it will be nice to tell stories, to talk about um, rid of all the rice grain that stays on the outer part of the vegetables. So you can have much nicely looking dolma. We are placing our last pepper in there. And now it's time for us to stuff the onions. Open it. And again, you don't want to fill them all the way to the top. And just place them like that, one next to each other. Look at these beautiful vegetables. How healthy is that is, and how delicious it's going to be too. I can't think of anyone that doesn't like dolma. Everyone loves dolma. Doing last layers of onion. Like I said, I like to arrange all these pieces that we couldn't separate. They'll give you so much flavor. They are my favorite pieces actually. And now, lastly but not least, we need to work on stuffing the grape leaves. So what I would do is I will take about maybe 6 leaves, shiny side down, vein side up, relatively all the same size. That's what I try to do when I pick grape leaves. I like to pick them when they are relatively all the same size. So when you roll them, they will all have that beautiful shape to them, easier to roll, and they will all look the same. It's kind of neat when you have them all the same size in the pot. So what I would do is I will place about maybe 1 tablespoon of filling in the center towards the stem, closer to the stem. Much easier to arrange 6 of them like that on a cutting board or any work surface. And then what I would do is I will bring both sides towards the center, roll the top end all the way tightly, all the way to the pointed end, and you have beautiful stuffed grape leaves. If you've never done this before, this is how it should look like. And we will continue rolling the remaining grape leaves by rolling them tightly just like a cigar and arrange them one next to each other. Bring both sides to the center and then start from the top towards the bottom to the pointed end. Roll tightly like a cigar, just like that, and arrange them next to each other, snugly next to each other, so they will not move or open during cooking time. Just like that. So much fun. I really enjoy making dolma, especially the grape leaves. I'm using 1 layer of grape leaves in my pot, but many people like a lot of grape leaves, so you could use 2 layers or 3 layers. You could use less vegetables if you want, or a bigger pot if you want. Make sure they are fitted nicely and snugly like that. Press through, make sure nothing is gonna move like that. And the dolma, everything is nicely stuffed and it's done. Now it's ready to be cooked. Sometimes at this point you might take this, cover it and put it in the fridge and cook it the next day. But today we are ready to cook it right now. So what I would do is, this is a really heavy plate. The heavier the better, that you can insert on top. This will keep the vegetables and the leaves to stay in there and not to open or move during cooking time. So this will be ready. We will turn the heat on. We'll let the bottom layer just saute a little bit in the oil, and I will get ready to prepare the sauce to cook the dolma with. Now we are gonna get ready to get the liquid ready for cooking the dolma with, or actually the sauce. So I have 1.5 cups of freshly squeezed lemon juice that will go on top. And then I have 1.5 cups of water. To this, I will add 1 tablespoon of tamarind paste. Of course, it's optional. If you don't like tamarind, you can just use water, and you can use lemon. You really don't have to do that, but this will give it that sweetness and sourness flavor, and it's going to be amazing. It's my favorite thing to cook the dolma with. So this will go on top. So this whole pot needs only about 3 cups of liquid to cook with. The vegetables will release a lot of liquid. So that's why you don't really need to immerse the whole dolma with liquid. So this will be good. And the stuffing in the dolma, it's going to release some liquid. So this will be just perfect. I will wait until everything comes to a boil. The liquid is coming to a boil. Now I will turn the heat down to medium and then put the lid back on and then let it cook over low heat for about 45 minutes to 1 hour until nice and tender. Look how beautiful the dolma is. Beautiful. Nothing moved. Everything is still in place. That's what happens when you add that heavy plate on it and when you cook it on low, and looks beautiful. We need to let it sit for about half an hour to cool off before serving it.